Hey everybody, Greg Rice from Nexus Property Management here today with some hard-hitting stuff. Today we're going to talk about building permits. We all need them. At some point we all need a building permit. You know, I needed one recently and I found out that I needed one. And when I found out, I also found out that I had to pay $500 for doing work without said permit. And I had no idea that that was the new way of doing business in the city. And in order for me, contractor rather, to continue the work, you got to pay that $500. And if you want to pay online with a card, you got to pay the processing fee too of $20. So it's very much hardball. Some would say it's even ransom. It's give me the $500 and then you can start working. That's how it feels. Feels like a money grab. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. I love Woonsocket. I've spent millions and millions and millions of dollars in Woonsocket. Give me $500 for your deck boards on your second floor, whatever. Where's the 500? I need the 500. That's how it feels. That's what I'm perceiving. So what does that mean? What am I talking about? So in April, the city of Woonsocket changed the late filing fee on working without a permit, right? If they catch you and they stop work, it used to be $100 for the first offense, $250 for the second, and $500 for the third. This amended that to $500 or 50% of the regular fee for any permit. So instead of the slap on the wrist of the 100, which I've never seen, I've never gotten charged that, and I've had some issues. Oh yeah, you got to pull a permit. All right, my bad, sorry, go file it, right? I've never even seen the $100, I've never seen the $250, and I've never seen the $500. And now it's just $500. And to me, this experience was a test. This was a test for how is Woonsocket, how is their city government treating somebody like me who's invested, I don't even know how many millions. If you count up all the properties I don't even know, in the city. How are they going to treat me for this type? Are they going to waive the fee in good faith as an olive branch for something that happened 6 months ago at a city council? Who's watching city council? My eyes bleed watching those. I can't do it. Nobody does it. There's 10 people there. It's not how people receive information. So my point here is that we should have received that information in another way. Perhaps the annual tax bills, which come out around July. Enclosed, typically you see the mayor's letter, things they've done, improvements they've made, right? It's the city's kind of report card. And oh yeah, here's a new thing from our building official. We appreciate all the investment in the city. We've had a lot of unscrupulous contractors, so therefore we have this new law, whatever you want to call it, $500, right? Where was that? I don't remember seeing any of that. So I get hit with the 500 and I say, okay, didn't know about that. And I think I'm pretty involved in Woonsocket politics. I have to be. And I didn't know about it. So the guy with a 3-family who lives in Florida, he's got no fucking idea about this, right? So leniency is required. And that's how you build rapport. That's how you foster relationships. That's how you cultivate more from somebody and from a relationship, by exercising grace. And Mr. Ted Isabella, who's the building official, exercises 0% grace, 0% leniency. This guy's not a people person. Simple. And most people think that. They just don't say it because they don't want to get whacked with his hammer. Because that's how he is. He'll probably whack me with a hammer after seeing the video. It's okay. Come on, bring it on. Whack me. You're already whacking me. And it's like, we don't have to be in this type of setting, but here we are. And I'm doing this because there's other people that are experiencing this type of hammer who don't have the platform or the ability to speak out because it's an injustice. It's a money grab, in my opinion. And think about traffic cameras, right? Warwick, for example, just ended their trial period so the public could become aware of something that's getting implemented that will have an effect on their wallet. That just ended. So now if you speed through a camera in Warwick, boom, you're going to get your $50 ticket. But you knew about it. That's how, there's so much going on in the world. You think people are paying attention to city council ordinances? You got to hammer it. You got to send a newsletter. You got to put it in the paper. You got to Facebook. You got to, mayor says it. You got to something. But the way they chose to do it was, we're just going to wait for it to happen. We're going to whack the fee. And then when somebody like Greg, who's doing a hell of a lot of good for the city, asks for some leniency, we're not going to give it to him. And then what are we going to say to him? What are we going to say to Greg after he asks for said leniency? Well, this is what we're going to say. Quote, and this is Ted Isabella, the top dog, who's worked, I remember him in East Providence, busting my balls. I remember him in Providence. I remember him in Newport. And I understand cities and towns have trouble hiring building officials. Same with planners. It's a tough position to fill. But this guy, I mean, does he want to work for every city and town in Rhode Island? I don't know. Maybe he does. He says this to me on October 14th. Quote, your company, Nexus Property Management, it's not my company, by the way. Let's just be clear, is one of the largest property management companies in the city. And with that, your company, not my company, has a contractor registration number with the state of Rhode Island. Additionally, your other company, which I do own, owns several properties within our city. Being a registered contractor, I think you meant registered contractor in the state of Rhode Island, here's the big one. You are supposed to know building codes and laws. That's it. That's the type of bedside manner that I get. And you're probably getting too. You're supposed to know the building codes? Give me a break. Building, the thing's probably that big. And then he gives me the building codes, SBC 1, 2022, 105.21. You know, it's just like, come on, dude. It's not what this is about. This was a test, and you failed miserably. You failed terribly. It's okay. You're not a people person. I get that. This is not the answer that I was looking for. This is how I would do it. And I don't need to know building codes to do this. Hey, Greg, Ted here. Yeah, I see you're doing that work over there. Yeah, that's something that needs a permit. Yeah, no problem. You didn't know about the fee. We're going to waive that as a one-time courtesy moving forward. However, we're unable to do that. But you've been great with the city. You've been here for a decade. We appreciate what you're doing. Thanks a lot. Call me if you have any questions. Teddy bear. That's the play. That's the move. That's somebody who gets it. That's somebody that's going to build, foster, and cultivate relationships with investors like me who are dumping millions and millions of dollars into the city. That's the answer that should have been received. Not, you're supposed to know, and here's the building codes, and beat it. Wrong answer. Survey says, not it. So, I respond back. And I say just this. Your response avoids the topic of leniency and public awareness. And I get into the traffic cameras, yada, yada, yada. So now I give him a second chance to come around arm around approach. Hey, bud, this is how it is. We understand you didn't know. We'll waive it. That's right. I'm just like, I don't even want to do it. It's like, but I got to do it. This is a test. How is my money being managed and treated in the city? How are my investments? What are their future? What is my legacy going to look like with people like this? So I have to ask that follow-up. What's the gauge? Where's the barometer? What can I expect? Do I want to continue investing in the city, or do I want to go elsewhere? Do I want to deal with shit, or do I want to deal with people who understand, who are allies, who have the right mindset, who have a business first, solutions first mindset? So what's the answer that I get? Here we go. Quote, the city of Woonsocket has always had fines for working without permits. So the awareness has always been there. I think he meant to say has always been there. This is not a new policy. What has changed is the value of the fine. Previously, there was an escalating scale, 100, 250 to 500. However, that did not seem to sway people from still working without a permit. Now with a higher fine structure, we have seen a difference. So it's like a diametrically opposed absolute. We've always had it, but now it's different. You've always had it, but now it's different? Why is it different? Because it's different. It's changed. $500, whack. No notice. No leniency. Take it or leave it. That's different. It's not the same. The previous structure, yes, existed, but I think was loosely, if at all, enforced. I've never seen a $100 fine, let alone a $250 or $500. But now I see that $500, wajam, bam, take it. And then finally, as for leniency here in your situation, as I've already explained, you're a registered contractor who is supposed to know the codes and laws. Plus, you have had enough interaction with the building department to know better. I know you are not happy with my decision, but my decision is final. So I replied with thumbs down. So the answer that Mr. Isabella believes is appropriate to me and likely to others, and he's putting this in writing, is you should have known better. Like he's my father, right? Like he's sonning me. Like, is that the person who's leading the charge for you? That's weak. That's not somebody I would deal with, ever, or employ. That's just, it's a shame. And the ordinance will put that up for you too so you can see it. You know, I agree with the premise of it. Yeah, you need people to file permits. But there needs to be that camaraderie, that we're on the same team here. And Mr. Isabella's approach is, you're my competition. I felt no alliance building, anything. I felt no compromise. My decision is final. Like he's a judge. It's just, it's Bush League. It's total Bush League. Take the 500. You need it more than I do. You want the win, the ego boost? Take it. I don't need it. I just need people to know that it's unfair and it's not how business should be conducted. That position is very important. Very important. And it's somebody that needs to understand the investor mindset and the city mindset. It's blending of both. And it can't just be like, I am for the city and not for you, and you should know better, and you should know the codes and the laws. Like, it's this very like defensive approach. No. Arms open, arms around, hand extended. Where is it? It's nowhere to be found. So, fine. All good. Thanks for watching, if you're watching. And if you have a similar story, I would love to hear about it. And we can compare notes. And I've already heard other stories. I've heard people waiting weeks and weeks to get their permits even issued or work started. It stopped, long time, and just, it's a tough department. There's so many things happening. I get it, and they're probably short-staffed. They're probably underfunded. I get the whole thing, but I'm not poking at that. I'm poking at the way the business is conducted. It doesn't cost any money to be friendly. $0. But it's going to cost a lot to operate like that. I won't forget that. And now look at I'm sitting here wasting my time again talking about nothing. But I have to. It deserves a spotlight. And light loves darkness. And I don't know what the mindset is over there, but there's a lot of darkness. And I don't see things operating that way. We deal with all the minutes. I mean, we deal with all of them. And it's just the stuff that happens in Woonsocket, it just makes me scratch my head like, how is this normal? And there's only like 30-something thousand, like it's such a small, it's all the way up in the top. Like, how is it so, it's very parochial up there. I don't get it. And every city and town has their own ways and issues and drama and politics. I get that, but it's just in Woonsocket, it's very Wild West, it feels. It creates plenty of content for our subscribers, so I guess it's good in that regard. And it's an education. So that's what we'll file this under. This will be filed under education. So once again, Greg Rice from Nexus Property Management, your property and your permit managed.